Although they've been around since 2014, it's only now, in 2026, that their debut album, Enter the Realm of Fire, is being released. What Rapid delivers, with plenty of reverb in their sound, is the classic spirit of thrash/speed metal, clearly intended to appeal to metalheads, much like some of the classic European and South American thrash bands from the early days, which served as the foundation for extreme music in the late 1980s, notably in death metal, but especially in black metal. The production is raw and vintage, and the compositions follow suit. Raw power and virtuosity that remind us of the days when we discovered heavy music out of love precisely for those two elements we sought so fervently. Rapid serves as a reminder that Latin America continues to lead the way in devotion to the sacred sound, whatever form it may take.
We always enjoy being introduced to new bands, especially new bands that play traditional heavy metal with class. That's certainly the case with the Canadian band Famous Strangers, whose debut album offers a diverse range of heavy metal. It's so diverse that it might not even fit quite right on the traditional heavy metal shelf. But that's probably exactly why we love this album so much. Because of the way it sounds like heavy metal to us, yet still breaks the mold with some of its approaches. It's epic, it's immediate. It veers into hard rock, into furious heavy metal, or into the contemplative. It's a simple album without grand pretensions, but one that wins us over with its honesty and simplicity. A final highlight is the lengthy Rain, which even reminds us of the days when there was no fear of creating a long melodic track, one that becomes downright hypnotic. Argul is a band from Lima, Peru, and although this is their debut album, it displays the maturity of veterans. This is no surprise since the musicians are far from being newcomers. Doom metal is their thing, but the label of this genre doesn't fully capture what you'll hear on Soledad and Orgullo. The heavy atmosphere of Doom is enriched by a certain spirit of epic heavy metal, the groove of stoner rock, as well as an atmospheric vibe that veers very subtly into psychedelia. Comprising just 5 tracks, one of which, the closing track Kamog, is presented as a bonus track, this is a rich journey for those who enjoy Doom when it's dynamic and engaging. And not only is it an excellent introduction to the band, but it also reveals that this is just the beginning of a musical evolution worth following. Kickin Valentina are back with yet another powerful hard rock album, their 5th, proving that despite the musical downturn in the United States, and in other areas as well, the underground scene still has enough life in it to keep a band like Kickin Valentina alive and thriving, proudly embracing their underground roots, which in days gone by would have brought them great success. They deliver, without compromise, a cohesive and dynamic album, full of catchy choruses, excellent riffs, and solos to match. And it's so great that in 2026 we still have music like this to inspire us, without being held hostage by the past or living on nostalgia. Anthems from the Underground is a must-listen for anyone who loves good, pure hard rock. Temple of Dread is a good example of how dedicated, hard work toward a cause always pays off in one way or another. While we can't say for certain whether they're close to the goals they've set for the band, what we do know is that by their 6th album, it's clear their artistry has been honed to a level of excellence. And that's precisely where we find this Dreadspawn dominion. Unbound by labels, the raw power with which these 10 songs are delivered is nothing short of impressive. Without giving in too much to melody, what we find here is an old-school vibe that immediately captivates us. And we're confident that even those who think they're immune will, before long, if they love death metal as much as we in the band do, surrender irrevocably. An album to listen to at ear-splitting volumes. We love comebacks, especially when they're good ones. In this case, we're talking specifically about the Swedish band Fejd, who are returning with a new album 10 years later. 10 years that feel like no more than a single year, such is the freshness and quality of their 5th album. Folk metal that manages to be both festive but not overly so, and heavy, and above all, melancholic. It's an album that makes us lose track of time while also transporting us to other places and times, as any decent music that doesn't limit itself to exploring immediate and banal sensations simply must do. The fact that it's sung in Swedish with a clean vocal style might pose a bit of a hurdle for those who are completely hooked on English, but if you can get past that, we guarantee lasting satisfaction. A must listen. We could be cynical enough to say that Flotsam and Jetsam built their career on the coattails of a standout debut album, and the fact that a former member joined Metallica. And although that's unfair, since their second album is just as compelling as their debut, the truth is that they went through a long creative dry spell, something they've only recently overcome with a string of solid albums. Rats in the Temple may be far from matching the classic status of the albums mentioned above, but classics are only considered as such after a long time has passed. And often we're so blinded by the classics that we fail to recognize good music beyond them. Rats in the Temple continues the streak of strong albums released by the band, which now justifies their place among the elite of American thrash metal. "14 years later, with a hiatus in between, Mindwork are back with their 4th album. For those who don't know what to expect here, we can say that the label progressive death metal is a cliché, but it's the closest we can find to categorize Adrift in some way. Although they have a completely different style and venturing into the realm of comparisons, I'd say the impact is the same as what Opeth delivered on Still Life or Blackwater Park, with a greater focus on melody and understated virtuosity, the kind that serves the music rather than the egos of the musicians involved. An album that feels too short despite its 40 minutes, yet one that's full of surprises and reasons to listen to it again and again. They've made a spectacular return to the studio, and this is an essential album for anyone who loves progressive music but struggles to find anything with a lasting impact. I have to be completely honest. I'm not a big fan of Xandria. At least I never have been. I respect their undeniable talent and have no trouble placing them among the top ranks of the symphonic metal scene. The thing is, ever since they first emerged, and especially after their second album, Ravenheart, the one that definitively put them on the map, they've never managed to captivate me as much as the bands that were already well established at the time. Namely, Nightwish Within Temptation and Epica, who released their debut album the same year as Xandria. The fact that they've also had an inconsistent career in terms of lineup, with several changes in lead singers, didn't help. And now, with Eclipse, everything is in place for it to not only be one of their best works, but also one that will help them climb the ladder of that symphonic metal hierarchy mentioned earlier. Ambre Vorvahis, on her second album as Xandria's lead singer, is perfectly integrated and makes this a superior work compared to the previous one. Heavy, melodic, and emotional. For fans of the genre, this is a must-listen. Music is a curious and fascinating thing. It inspires us, moves us, drives us to take action, to reflect, to philosophize, to dream. And it completely throws our expectations off course. I have to admit that I've never paid close attention to the career of the Finnish band Soulgrind. I knew of their existence mainly through Gloomy Grim, but I never delved too deeply into it. In fact, I always thought Soulgrind was a side project of Gloomy Grim, and not the other way around. Gloomy Grim disbanded due to Agathon's health problems. He passed away shortly thereafter. Soulgrind, on the other hand, never lost steam, even though this is their first album since 2010. After such a long time, one might think something would have been lost. The glass isn't always half empty. Judging by these 10 tracks spanning over an hour of music, it seems they've actually found their groove. Inspired, they deliver a beautiful album that blends black, doom, and melodic gothic metal, drawing us in effortlessly. Special mention goes to Tanya Whisper Lilith's vocals, which remain breathtaking. They may have had to make up for lost ground since 2010, and the cover art isn't exactly eye-catching, but the music, my friends. The music is out of this world,